All right. Okay, well, we are going to go live here in just a moment. We're in the process of getting this video not only recorded but live streamed on our Facebook group, and hopefully those that are amongst several mobile home investing groups that I've, of course, blasted this out to. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Krista Garren of Sprout Financial. She brings a lot to the table, guys. Those that are watching this now and those that are going to be watching later on, she does a handful of things. First and foremost, she's the lady that we're going to go to when it comes to needing business funding to get, to kickstart your mobile home investing business, to really help you scale your business, whether it's, needing the funds for, covering those, costly software or perhaps just needing, overhead capital just to really scale your business. But in addition to that, Chris is actually an expert at investing herself. She's been investing in real estate for years now, and she honestly brings a lot to the table when it comes to that area. So maybe we'll touch a little bit in that, touch a little bit on that topic. But primarily today, I want to get an idea of what Sprout Financial provides. What is their services? How they've been helping investors all across the country get access to capital to invest in real estate, business, and just anything that could possibly benefit growing a company in that area. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up. And Krista, thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about you. We'd love to hear about you on just a whole grand scale of things, and then really flow into Sprout Financial. And I'll just ask you some questions, kind of going back and forth, and we'll just make this very lighthearted.
Yeah. Hi. Okay. So thanks, Brandon. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys today. I absolutely love talking about real estate. I love talking about money, and I'm super passionate helping people find solutions that they can use to grow their real estate business. So I'm happy to come on and help out anytime you need me to. So I got into real estate investing in late 2011. I was one of the first people in the country to short sell a house. And I was trying to dig my way out of a very large hole of debt, trying to save the house that I was in before making that decision. So real estate really came to me at the right time. And I tell people it saved my life. It saved my financial life. It also really showed me where my true passion lied, which I love investing, but my true passion is helping people. So as a result of the real estate investing that I've done, so I specialize in fix and flips. I've invested all over the country. But as a result of that, I had some really cool experiences. I got to participate on a full season of an HGTV show. If you guys ever get the opportunity to do television, you definitely want to do it because it's so much fun. But what I really loved about it was it showed you that real estate is possible for anybody. That with a good system and the right team, and Brandon, you know what I mean when I say that because you've got a team, the right team, you really can get out there and do a bunch. I'm sorry, guys, my huskies are talking to me if you hear them.
You're good.
So I apologize in advance. So then I also had the opportunity to, coach and mentor and work with people. So that's just been, really a big part of my life for the last 3 going on 4 years. So what I'm doing for Sprout now is I have just found in all of my talkings, I've talked to thousands of people all over the country. As getting started in any real estate business, we stress on 2 things: is where's the deal going to come from, and where's the money going to come from to power the deal. So when I had the opportunity to come in and work with Sprout and start connecting people to money, that just lights me up. I just love doing stuff like that. So that's what I do for Sprout, is I connect you and everybody that needs money to what they're looking for. And what I love about how we do it is we don't just have one solution for it. We can cover everything from helping somebody get their education, to helping them look for gap funds, to helping them just get straight money to purchase things all cash. We can help them with business funding for day-to-day operational expenses. We're very well versed. And we want to talk to everybody. So we've been around almost 7 years now. Sprout has over 6,000 clients, and to date, we've done over $250 million in funding, and that number is ticking up every single day. Even with what's going on in the country right now, we're having a lot of success helping people who are involved in real estate secure money for their businesses without having to go into a lot of personal debt to do it.
Wow. That, it blows my mind too, because, I think the one thing that holds a lot of people back from really getting into any business, whether, mobile homes, real estate, or, ice cream shop, is the lack of funding, and sometimes in a creative way too, because there's also alternative lenders out there. And I think Sprout Financial kind of fits that mold. Really, and don't, and those that are watching this, don't take that word alternative as like a bad term. It's that there's people that are in situations that cannot get funding, and so they just stay back and they just sit in their current role, their current 9-to-5 job, and it just doesn't. They hear inspirational videos of others doing, seeing success in business, maybe mobile homes. And the thing that's holding you back might be money, might be the money situation. And that's really the biggest thing that we need in order to make more money, right? Money makes money, right? So, Krista, maybe kind of tell us about the funding option for real estate investors. So you work with real estate investors all across the country. If me not knowing anything about what you guys do, let's say, what would you recommend for me? I'm a brand new investor. I want to, kickstart doing my first flip. I might need a little bit of money to roll out a marketing campaign. What would be the best option that Sprout Financial could provide?
Absolutely. So with Sprout, we have a couple things that we do. We can work with your students, work with you on 0% lines of credit, also known as credit cards. Now, I know there's some of you that might be sitting there right now going, oh, credit cards, we've been taught not to use them. We've been taught not to go into debt. I just want to share with you that 0% credit cards are one of my favorite, hands down ways to bring money into a transaction. I love it for a variety of reasons, mostly because when I'm only paying for what I use, right? And the monthly debt service on that is extraordinarily reasonable. So just to give you an example, if I needed a $50,000 line of credit and I'm injecting that into a real estate transaction, it might only cost me $500 a month to do that. 500 times the number of months I'm in it. If I'm in that deal for 6 months, might be $3,000. But if I'm making 10 to 15,000 on my 50, that's a pretty doggone good return on investment. So that's one of my favorite tools, and because it's credit and stated income based. So I can literally come in, look at your credit score, take a statement from you on what you are currently making, and then I can build a custom bank list and get out there and start looking for banks that really want to help you get your business off the ground. The other avenue that we have is term loans. So just like you have a loan on your car, this is a not collateralized loan. So in other words, you don't have to put up any collateral. It is credit and verifiable income based. This one's a little trickier because I do have to ask for things like tax returns, W-2s, and 1099s. But we can also seek larger amounts of money in that arena than we can on the 0% lines. So either way, we're going to be able to get that need met.
Wow. So, okay, let me back up a bit, because, I see this fitting perfectly for the wholesaler that's watching this, and most folks that are, following, us and getting this, getting education, they want to start a mobile home investing business. They really are starting in the wholesale area of many options that you can use or leverage for flipping mobile homes. Mm-hmm. So, that really requires, getting in and getting out of the deal as soon as possible, and having, getting a small wholesale fee. So I have to ask the question, just looking at it from a newbie's perspective, like what mm-hmm. would why would I use Sprout Financial? And that's a rhetorical question, because again, wholesaling, for those watching this or later on we'll be watching this, wholesaling, you're not buying the property, you're going under contract, right? But how in the world do you get access to that deal without marketing? Right. I push this all the time. Advertise on market on a regular basis so that you have right. leads generating. And for those that, send out postcards or letters to mobile home communities, that costs money, right? Yeah. It can cost you about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. If you're doing that on a monthly basis, right? And you need to have sustainability, but you also need to have access to capital. So what I love what Krista just said there a moment ago was, we can access, let's say we went the one of two routes for lending, the lines of credit. If I understood correctly, it's unsecured. So I don't need to like give you my card title or anything like that, right?
Correct. Yes. Everything is unsecured.
Wow. So, okay. So are you seeing, because I know you're running across a lot of real estate investors, and for those watching this, we wouldn't really consider this real estate. If you're investing in manufactured homes in communities, it's considered personal property at that point. But are you seeing wholesalers taking advantage of Sprout services for the sake of business?
Yes, absolutely. Because, those lines can be used on anything. So once you have those lines, you have swiping power, or we can help you liquidate and turn that money into cash. It can be injected into the business. It can be used for anything. It can be used to purchase equipment that you need in your business. If you needed printers or computers, it can be used for cell phones. It can just anything and everything. And marketing is a really big thing. That is something that I talk to a lot of people about. They don't always think about that. People are always thinking about how to get the deal. And what I tell people is, hey, there's a difference between working in your business and working on your business. And hunting money for your business is working on your business. You always want to make sure that you've got solutions. And even though mobile homes are considered personal property, we're still investors because we're doing this as a business. And one of the things that I see that is oftentimes lacking in a lot of the real estate education, and this is just coming straight from the clients that I talk to, is no one ever gives them a system for how to hunt money and how to bring money to the table. So what Sprout is we're that member of your power team that's saying, hey, you've got your realtor, you've got your contractor, you've got your title company, you've got all these other elements. Who do you have on your team that's connecting you to the one thing every single business needs to power up and grow? And that's constant capital. So when someone comes in, we want to see, are you fundable? And we don't just want to solve your funding problem today. We want to keep you fundable for the future. That's one of our main goals when people come in and work with us is fundability, continued fundability.
Wow. So can you touch base, because you're saying, I understand what you're saying. We kind of speak the same language in a sense. Can you tell me a little bit about what do you mean about retaining fundability?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So this is becoming a really big topic of conversation right now, especially in the alternative lending space. There's about, this will probably shock you, but about 50% of all the applications that are put in for funding are actually denied. And it's not for the reason that you think. It's not because people don't make enough money. It's not because the banks don't like what's on the application. Surprisingly, it's from the perception of fraud. And usually when I tell people that, they're like, wait a minute, I'm telling the truth on my application. Yes, we do tell the truth. But if you've ever gone in and applied for a loan in one spot, right? And let's say you've gone into Stagecoach Banking and you said, I made $100,000 last year. And then between talking to Stagecoach Banking and talking to a bank in America, you go back and look at your tax returns and you think, oh, wait a minute, it wasn't 100,000, it was 110,000. $10,000 difference. You're trying to be honest about it. You want to come to the table with everything and say, hey, I'm an honest and I'm a forthright person. The differences in the information that's collected on you actually throws up red flags in the system and can cause applications to be denied. So when people come in and not so much on the personal side, but this is really focused on the business, when they work with us for business credit and business funding, we go through and verify over 125 different factors that a lender could look at before they ever look at your application and say, nope, we don't want to work with you. And they're really like innocuous things like, what kind of an email address are you using? What is your physical address? Do you have a Google Voice number? What is your NAICS code for your business? All of these things can set off red flags. So we are a financial company, but we are also an educational company. We want our clients to understand what goes into the decisions that are being made so that when they apply, they can apply with confidence. So that's ability is congruency of data that's collected about you on the internet. So I always tell people, have you ever pulled your LexisNexis report? Mine's 120 pages long. If you've never pulled yours, that's something that we help clients with. Pull it, take a look. You will be shocked at the information that's collected on you.
So, okay. So when you guys are checking, so you're doing all of this preliminary prior to going to funding. So just to make sure I'm understanding this clearly. So I'm going to Sprout services, or, taking advantage of Sprout services.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get funding for my wholesale business, my mobile home business. You guys go through a preliminary stage before we go straight into funding, because you want to set us up for success. You don't want us going to, getting to a place where they're doing background checks on us, maybe reviewing credit, and then all of a sudden we get denied. We want to be intentional about working with you. So you guys are preparing us for that. Is that kind of fair to say?
It is, yes. It looks a little different on the personal side than it does on the business side, but absolutely yes. So in both instances, if we're working on the personal side, so say we're talking to one of your students about education, we're going to review the credit. If there's anything we see on the credit, like, gives us pause, like maybe they've hunted for credit already and there's too many inquiries, or maybe, gosh, times have been really hard the last 6 months. Maybe they went behind on a payment, or, they had a derogatory remark from a creditor from a couple of years back. We want to have that conversation and just say, hey, we know you want to get from A to B. We just got to talk about, the reality of where you are now. We may need to go in and address those items with them to prepare them to then go and have us seek funding on their behalf.
Got it.
Just come in and we're gonna shove you into a solution. It's customized to what you need to get the most possible funding for your situation, your unique individual scenario, because no two people are exactly alike.
Got it. Well, let me ask the fun question, because I've been dying to ask this. How much money could you get me based on any random variable? Would you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Okay. So again, I have to separate it out, personal and business. On the personal side, we would have to take a look at your existing credit score, right? So obviously inside of that, it's not just about score. We would look at the other factors, how long you've had credit, what your utilization is, the types of credit that you have. These are all things that banks pay really close attention to. So based on all of that information, then our systems behind the scene would deliver to us, and this is based on almost 7 years of research and development, would deliver to us an approximate amount of money that you pre-qualify for, and would take it one step further and tell us exactly how that money is going to come. Do we think we can get it for you in 0% lines, or do we think we need to seek out a term loan, right? So it's a little tougher for me to give you an exact number on the personal side, because again, everyone's individual. The great is on the business side, so funding that's only tied to your business's employer identification number, that number is almost unlimited. That really comes down to, well, I'm going to show you the list of creditors and companies that we know want to lend money to businesses just like yours, and how many are you going to apply to, right? So you could apply to 3, you could apply to 15. So, and the great part about the business side is, unlike personal, where when you start applying for credit all over town, the credit bureaus are a bunch of snitches and they can get you in trouble, which is why Sprout is so good at what we do, because we know how to get around that. On the business side, that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, do you pay your bills on time? So we can literally go in, and if we're working with you on the personal and the business side, we could literally be talking about, $100 to $200, maybe $300,000 when we're combining everything together. When it gets really awesome is when you start to think that, well, as individuals in real estate, we have more than one entity. So what if we're going in and seeking credit and finance for every single entity that we have? So if one entity is capable of getting 100,000 plus, then when you start doing that with every entity, wow, you then, exponentially multiply what you have available to you.
Okay. So hold on. Let me understand this, because I think I know what you're saying on that last part of what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Say we have multiple LLCs, multiple businesses. Are you saying that you're taking advantage of both of those businesses as far as business funding?
Absolutely. And I'm saying that we're going to take it one step further, which is someone will come on board. They'll go through our business funding program. They're going to see our step-by-step system on how we do this. We're going to hold nothing back, because we want to empower our clients to be able to go out and do that for themselves. So that when it comes to, if you had multiple LLCs, we help you with the first one, and you're able to do numbers 2 through whatever, all on your own, shadowing that process in the background. So we have really expanded from just being a company that provides finance. We also provide education on, well, gosh, how do we do that? Because on the business side, that can be a real maze of credit. It can take businesses years, sometimes 3 to 5 years to learn how to get credit. We're going to do it in a matter of months.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, you could be a brand new business owner and you're going to educate me on how to build that credit. In a matter of months, I should have something reflecting a score. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to start within a matter of weeks, and we're going to take someone through 4 different types of funding on the business side. And we're not talking about funding that's like, oh, that's great, but how do I use it in my business? We're talking about funding that's great for operational expenses. We're talking about how to get in with companies like Lowe's and Home Depot, which we need materials from when we're fixing things up, whether we're flipping them or we're holding them, how to get those commercial lines that when you just walk in the door and apply, they go, oh, that's great. Can I have your social security number? Well, in this case, the answer is no, I don't want to give that to you. I want to base this on my business. And most businesses, they don't have the ability to do that, especially with big banks, because the banks want things that a brand new business can't provide. Our systems get around that. They circumvent that. We do it in a very methodical manner, just like your system for purchasing mobile homes and then doing what you're going to do with them. You've got steps. We've got steps. You're showing your students how to do it. We're showing our clients, your students, how to do the same thing. So while they're learning the business of real estate, they're learning how to work on their business as well, so that they are always fundable. And on the business side, as long as you're paying your bills on time, you're going to have a really good, solid business credit score. So after 6 months, say, if we're working with someone and we're helping them with their personal credit, which if they need personal credit cleanup, we do that as well. That's included in our business program. If we're helping you on both sides of the fence, when we're done, you now are in a position to qualify for much, much larger, more advanced lines and loans through major banks, including SBA loans, which I think every single one of us should look into when we get to that point in our business where we want to expand, build, or grow.
Wow. I think back at me personally, I just kind of take the reign for a second, but me personally, I remember starting my business and, my avenues for accessing capital was pretty limited. I was fortunate enough to have okay credit, but, I know a lot of folks that, are early into using credit cards. Maybe that's their heaviest, what's the word I'm looking for, but maybe the best way for them to show that they are fundable, right? So you get somebody that's got decent credit, but they don't have very many credit cards or trade lines showing that they are, fundable. Do you have any recommendations for that? New investors never use credit cards. Credit looks good, but they don't have much history.
Yeah. So, and it can be tough. That's what we refer to that as a thin file, right? So they don't have negative credit. They just don't have a lot of credit. So, there are certain credit cards that we can go out and help them seek that might, have a lower limit on them. But that can at least get the process going. I also tell my clients, hey, if you have had no credit history whatsoever, then you really want to explore maybe a secured credit card. So if you have a few $1,000s that you can take and put with a bank and then start spending regularly, carry a small balance, right? That's the one thing people always think, I've got to pay my cards to zero every month. No, actually that can hurt your score. Carry a small balance. Make sure you pay your bills on time. And then every couple of months, pay that balance off, then utilize it again. So if they're working solely on the personal side, then, you really want to be using that card for things like, well, are you driving around looking at mobile homes, right? Use it for the gas in your car. Use it for the things that are applicable to the business. Make sure that what you're using it for is debt that appreciates. That's the biggest space where when I talk to people and they're like, oh gosh, I don't know about credit cards. I'm like, have you had a bad experience? They might say, yeah. What did you buy with credit cards? It's almost always something that depreciated in value. So education, investment, anything like that, you're good to go, right? And just spend conservatively. Pay your balance or pay your bill, and then every couple of months pay it off and start all over again. That really helps build credit. And the other is, obviously we can't do much about the length of credit history. That's something that only time can solve. On the personal side, it's the mix of history. Do you have a house? Do you have a car loan? Those things all factor into your score. So to give you an idea, I just paid off my house a couple of months ago, paid off my HELOC. And I was so excited. I'm like, okay, it's paid off, it's done. Would you believe my credit score actually dropped? It actually dropped because I lost that mix of credit. So personal credit, the score is a lot more complex. It has more factors than on the business side. So I love the business credit side as well for my day-to-day operational stuff, because that is only influenced by whether or not I pay my bills. I can max it out. I can utilize the heck out of it. I don't have to have a mix. None of that matters. It's just, do you pay your bills on time? So we get someone in and we start building credit for them within a matter of weeks.
That's huge too, because, you know, a lot of people really think that in order for them to start a business, they have to intermingle personal, right? Maybe they only have personal credit and they don't know about this as an option that you've been talking about, Krista. And then they get caught up in, you know, well, perhaps maybe they're over leveraged on personal items, right? And they're buying doodads, and then it really harms their business. But perhaps it also takes them out of the position of, let's say, buying a house for their personal residence, because now they're, like I said, they got business piling up. They got that large balance owed because they're, you know, using the money to start their business, which isn't a bad thing by any means if the intention is to create a business and have those loans paid off over a short period of time. But you really got to be careful, because I know a lot of people that they're so focused on building their business, and I'm really inspired by their attitude, but they're not doing things in a way where they can kind of separate personal and business. And I love what you said there in that regard. Another thing too, and I won't touch too much on this because I'm not the professional in this area of what I'm about to say, but for those that are using, let's say, credit cards to start your business, we want, and Krista said this, buy items or purchase the education, the things that are necessary for your business, and most of those are tax write-offs. If you're buying doodads that have nothing to do with your business, you can't write that off, right? So for me, I have specific credit cards that I use just for business. So if I'm going through my little wallet here and I'm like, okay, well, I'm at the gas station right now. Which one am I using? Am I using my personal card, or am I using my mobile home guy's credit card? I'm using this because I'm separating personal from business. In addition to that, I get write-offs. So if you guys take anything from this, you know, Krista just said it. I mean, let's try to separate personal from business. But Krista's giving you guys that are listening right now and later on an option to actually build up business credit, keep things totally separate, and be fundable, if that's a word. We're using that, right? Fundable?
Fundable.
I like it. Okay, we're going to use it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So, you know, and I'm going to just, you know, lay this plug out there for anybody listening right now. Use the chat box to ask questions, because I'm going to ask questions to Krista as if I was you, but I might not touch on the topic that you want us to, you know, guide into. So make sure you're using this platform to communicate with us. Okay, let me guide us in a direction right now. So let's see here. So business credit.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier, you know, we can, I mean, what's the timetable on this as far as funding? You mentioned you're going to help build credit, takes a couple of months. How soon thereafter can we get funding?
So you're actually receiving, here's the great part about it, is when you go into that particular program and we start building credit, you start receiving funding within a matter of weeks, right? So that we go through 4 different rounds, but that first round can come within a matter of weeks, okay? So we get a couple things out of the way right away. We check your fundability. That's uber important. Those are those little tiny details that can knock you out of funding that you're like, what? Got denied because I have a Gmail email address. What's up with that? You know, it's sad, but it's true. So we get all of those things verified. That takes a couple of weeks. Once we're rolling with that, you know, we have to make sure that the business's profile is set up with the big 3 commercial bureaus. That's not a difficult thing to do, but it is necessary. Then we start exposing you to the different companies and creditors that we have at that tier 1 level, and you start applying. That credit can come immediately. So if you make 5 applications, you're going to get answers back within 24 hours. Then that credit is available to you immediately. So we move you through different types of credit. Net 30 credit, which I always say, it's not sexy credit. Net 30 is not sexy, but it's like the foundation for your house. If you don't have it, the whole thing topples over, right? And again, this is all about the system that gets you out of going through the financial colonoscopy. That's how I refer to it. The banks want to put you through. So we start with net 30. Then we move into like vendor and trade line credit. So you want to think companies like Lowe's and Home Depot, Dell, Best Buy, just to name some that I know that you will recognize. From there, it gets really exciting. Now we're talking about, gosh, you need to buy a truck. You know, you're tired of driving around your car all the time. You need a truck. Well, how in the heck do you finance that for your business? That's going to be something you're going to be able to do. Okay, well, what if I need to put tires on that thing? What if I need maintenance and oil changes and gas? Great. We have solutions and cards for that too. So there's that type of credit. And the culminating thing is what everybody wants to go to immediately, but this is what messed me up when I did it. Visa and MasterCard. We do that one last. That's our 4th round of funding. A lot of times what happens is when people try to go right out of the gate for Visa and MasterCard, if they don't have a commercial profile, they inadvertently end up personally guaranteeing those lines. Well, it's great in one sense that, yep, you got your credit card, you've got your money, but it's bad in the sense that if it's a line that's personally guaranteed, it doesn't report anywhere. It may not report on your personal, and it may not report on commercial. So when you go out to try to get those larger lines, and I'm sharing this with you because this is what happened to me. I went and tried to get an SBA loan through Comerica Bank, not even a big one. It was like a $28,000 loan against a business doing hundreds and hundreds of thousands. I was denied, and I was like scratching my head. I had great personal credit. It was because I had no commercial profile. So it's important that we do things in the right order, and that it's important that we work with companies that are going to report back on our behavior. So we've got to go step by step by step, but that's what we do. We kind of take you by the hand and we step you through so that you can see it all firsthand.
Got it. So now let's say I'm approved, I'm expecting the funds. You know, how will that arrive? Does that arrive in form of a check? You say lines of credit. Will we see credit cards, which is a form of line of credit, right?
Right.
How would we see that when that?
Great question. Great question. So on the net 30s, that's the ability for you to order things that you need, whether it's marketing materials, shipping supplies, paper if you're doing mailers, whatever you're doing. That credit's just with that business. So you hop on their website, you order what you need, they send it to you, they send you a bill. So there's no actual physical card for that. When it comes to like Dell, Best Buy, Home Depot, Lowe's, those kinds of creditors, they're going to send you an actual card. So you're going to have your swiping power. When it comes to the fleet part of things, you have the ability to go in and apply for and receive financing towards vehicles. They're not going to send you anything. That's something you're going to do on an as-needed basis. The fleet cards, however, which work towards tires, maintenance, oil, gas, those are physical cards. And the Visa and MasterCards are physical cards as well. So it's not cash, right? Because it's not liquidated funds, but it is swiping and order power. So our average client has anywhere from 100,000 plus. And again, I hate to put a limit on it because it really depends on, well, how much credit do you want for net 30? How much do you want from vendors? You know, how many vehicles do you need to finance? So this number is virtually impossible to put a limit on. Oh gosh, I hate that. That's the over 40 brain when the thought you have jumps right out of your head.
Okay, so let me just kind of intervene. No, you're giving awesome gems right now. So, you know, we've had some people that kind of just joined now. We even have this being shared live. Anybody that's watching this, if you don't mind sharing this out to friends and family on your Facebook or whatever, like let's get this information out, because there are people out there that are just starting business, mobile home investing, or they're starting an ice cream shop. Whatever,
you need right now. It's hot.
Or depending on where you're at, it is blistering hot, right?
Yeah.
But you need money. We need money to start business. But you know, how do we? I love you said. I'll keep repeating this, but I also want to do this intentionally for those that didn't hear this earlier. But you guys, Sprout Financial has really offered a service where they can separate personal from business by helping somebody who doesn't have any business credit become fundable right?
Yes.
By helping them
Yes.
boost their credit. And again, I know we've talked about this, Krista, and some maybe that have already listened, but those that are, just joining now and those later on, I want to harp on this. They're helping you get access to business credit if you want to keep things separated. And it seems like it seems like you're getting a good response from that, because it seems like that's one of the main products that you like to talk about. Would you say that business funding is really the more sought after loan versus going the route of getting access to personal lines of credit? Like, or do you do a combination of both?
So, okay, so that's a really great question, because, you can go either way. When you are looking for funding for education and you're brand new, just wanting to start your business, and you need to buy a course and you need to get in with something, we're going to help you explore that option on the personal side, right? Because that is our fastest track to funding that has swiping power, right? So, but if you're already in business and you're hunting money, we're going to want to talk to you about both options. Right? Because again, there's that separation of working in the business and on the business. And where I see most people just really don't focus quite enough is on the business. So if you're brand new, you're just starting out, you're listening to this, you're like, I want to work with Brandon. I need to purchase this, or I need to purchase that. Coming through that partner link, which we haven't given to everybody yet, but coming through your personal link is going to help get them into my system so I can have that conversation with them. We'll focus on the personal side. But as you know, spending on the personal side, and you touched on this earlier, if you are using a lot of credit on that side, can stop you from doing other things in your life. Like if you wanted to buy a house or personally buy a car, that's where that conversation about business credit comes in, and the separation of personal and business. Because we know 1 in 7 people who does everything with personal finance into their business, you stand a 1 in 7 chance of being audited by the IRS, 1 in 50 when it's on the business side. Right? So our conversation is, let's get you the education you want. Let's get you the courses that you want. Let's get you going and started. And then let's have the conversation about how to transition that spending into your business for 2 reasons. 1, you touched on this, Brandon, writing it off through your business. And 2, because we want to be able to use pre-tax dollars, not post-tax dollars, in order to get that income down to pay less taxes. We want to be able to shelter money. And while doing that, build a solid Paydex score. It's called a Paydex score. That's your business credit score. That's the thing that's going to allow you to really grow and expand your business without going into a lot of personal debt to do it. So that's how that conversation morphs and transforms.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it really is freeing. Me personally, Krista, I've been fortunate enough to run my business successfully early on, and having the team around us to do so. And over time, I've seen my business credit grow. I didn't see it as quick as you're mentioning you guys can do, because I didn't know that there were these type of services out there to boost business credit in such a quick time frame. But I know it's freeing for me knowing that, I have access to, $90,000, $100,000 in lines of credit, so that I can make sure my business is constantly going. If we need to, bring in a new process, maybe we're scaling and we need to invest in, programs, education, employees, right? We have that available, and then, that's how really this thing grows. And for those that are watching now, those that are watching later, I mean, think about it. I mean, really, you're only able to go as far as you allow yourself to go, right? And
Yes.
Some people really kind of stand on the sidelines. They don't take advantage of what's out there. I hear the excuse all the time, like, how do I can't grow my business because I don't have any money. I don't have any money. How do I get money? How do I do this? And they see other people doing it, and they just think like, they're just lucky and I'm unlucky, and boo-hoo, woe is me. I mean, it drives me insane, because, we have options, we have avenues. So me listening to this, if this is the first time I'm hearing from Sprout Financial, my takeaway should be that you can help me boost my business credit so that I can get access to capital to then grow my business, either from the very bottom, because I've just started, or maybe I'm, kind of mid-level and I'm wanting to scale. That is one of the biggest takeaways that anybody's watching now should hone in on. And I love the fact that you can do it in such a quick time. So yes, Krista mentioned earlier, there is a link for you guys in the chat. Make sure it's probably blinking orange. Click on that button. It'll show you the link to in which Krista can, check out what you guys will pre-qualify for or go through that process. Is that how it works, Krista?
Yeah. So when you go out and visit that link, guys, it's going to ask you some basic questions. It's going to ask for an address. It's going to ask for your phone number, email address, date of birth, things that we use just to verify that you're you, so that we know no one else is applying for credit on your behalf. That's really an important thing. When it goes through and it asks those questions, our systems are going to just take a soft look at your personal scenario. So in other words, it's not going to hurt your credit. It's not going to put a mark on your credit. Nothing for us to take a look and say, here's your pre-qualification. Here's the amount of money we think we can get you. Here's the type of funds that are going to come. Here's the timeline. And if there are any challenges, here are the challenges we have to look at and clean up before we can even go for funding. So by the time I get to you, once you've done this exercise and I get to you on the phone, I'm coming to you with a lot of information that's geared to help get you up and running as fast as possible. So that's going to be a really detailed call where I'm going to be able to sit and explain, these are all the options we have for you. What do you think is going to work best for your business? What's your timeline? My objective is to understand exactly what it is you want to do in your business so I can help you shape the right solution, because no two of you are exactly the same. So everything that we do is highly customized to your scenario, including the banks that we put you in front of.
Got it.
Who you are, right?
So, okay, so they can fill out the link. You're going to ask them for some detailed information. You or one of your team members are going to reach out to them and really just give them their options as far as funding, maybe make a couple of adjustments. And it sounds like you really are, whether it's now or later, your goal is to get them to be fundable. We've mentioned that a couple of times. Yes. So it might take a little bit of time for those that decide to go this route to see what kind of access they can gain. So we have to go through the process of building your credit, doing what Krista's mentioned on this call, helping you get business credit, even though maybe you're brand new and you have zero business credit. That is an option. So there's really no excuse but to see what you have available. Again, guys, you can really only go so far in your business depending on how far you're willing to go. And think about that. It sounds really cliche, but we have to take those necessary steps to see what's available for us. So I really wanted to get Krista involved in this conversation because I know her team and I know what they've done. And I didn't know that you guys have done over $250 million in loans over the last handful of years. So that's mind blowing. So you certainly have a big footprint on helping people grow their business. And obviously people are taking advantage of your services, because I'm guessing you didn't give $250 million to just one customer. So that's certainly something to consider. We're going to wrap things up here shortly, but anybody that's listening right now, I know we've had some that joined later. Do you have any questions? When you were probably encouraged to join this video because we're talking about mobile home loans or loans for your mobile home business in a sense. Do you have any questions that we really haven't gotten a chance to touch on? Make sure you speak up. You can either, I think there's a way to raise your hand or just put it in the chat box down here, because I want to make sure that we answer some of those. There's no dumb question. Somebody else may be thinking the same thing. So make sure you ask. If we got about a 45-second pause of nothing, we'll probably wrap up, because nobody likes to look at each other in an awkward way. So if you have questions related to having loans for your business, your mobile home investing business, to help you get education, to help you with renovation costs, to help you with scaling your business and hiring virtual assistants or employees, ask those questions now, because Krista's the girl. She's going to help us out here.
Well, we'll see what we get. If
see what we get.
Good job. We might not have any questions.
We might have asked all the questions, and no one has to ask anything. Krista, do you have any maybe last few words for us that we didn't quite capture or dive into that really could benefit us as business owners, as investors, especially with you being an investor yourself? Is there any advice you'd give us related to Sprout Financial that could coincide?
Never stop hunting money for your real estate business. Never, ever, ever stop. We always tend to think, oh, I've got enough. Every time I've ever thought I've got enough financial resources available to me, then inadvertently I had a deal, because we were over in the Bay Area. You know, the cost of real estate is a lot more than it is, say, here, you know, where we at, for instance. So every time I thought I've had enough money, then inadvertently something would land in my lap and I would have to go back out and source it. It's so much easier to source it when you are not in the moment of, oh my gosh, I've got this deal, I need to lock it down, or geez, I've got something I've got to pay for, and you're scrambling. So I tell people, make the act of looking for funding and continuing to find funding for your business something that you do on a regular basis. Don't wait until your back is, you know, you're up against the wall and you've got it to close something to start looking for fun. One of my favorite sayings that one of my colleagues says is, you know, money's like tequila, it just shows up to the party. So, but you've got to come to the party, and the party is the money sourcing party. So if you're thinking about that, if you've just got that up, I used to keep my goals and my to-do for the day and the week and the month up in front of me. When you've got that up and you're just thinking about it, hey, did I think about looking for extra money in my business right now? Hey, have I done anything about that portion of my business right now? And if you haven't, make that part of something you're going to do today. Take 5 minutes and think about how you're going to get that done. Money should be something you're thinking about every single day in this industry, every day.
Absolutely. I mean, get ahead. You don't wait the month before taxes are due to have your bookkeeper update your books. You do it throughout the year, right?
Exactly.
Same thing with business funding, right? You don't wait until that deal's right in front of you and then you go and try to reel in that money, and then all of a sudden that deal's gone because me, who's fundable and has money right now, is beating you to the punch.
That's right. Oh my gosh, Brandon, I'm so glad you said that, because for the more prepared investor, you might lose out on that deal if you're not ready to go. So it's, you know, it's preparedness. It's, you know, success is work meets opportunities. So, you know, you've got opportunity all around you. Now you just got to put in the little extra work to make sure that you're ready to go when that next opportunity drops into your lap.
It's awesome. Wow. Well, Krista, we thank you so much for being on here. Looks like we had let's see, I see a chat came through. Had a few to start, but you guys are covered a lot. Okay, cool, Bailey. Glad we answered some of those questions for you.
Thanks, Bailey.
We placed the link in the chat if you guys want to see what Sprout can do as far as getting you access to capital. And again, like we touched on earlier, hunt for money even before the deals are here. Hunt for money before your business is a 20-man, 20-woman team. Have it ready now. Otherwise, you get the big dogs going out there and really, reeling in all of the business, and you're on the sidelines. So Krista is going to take care of you. Make sure you go to sproutfin.com/MHG. Go through the link, fill out the information. Krista or her team will be contacting you to give you your options. And it doesn't hurt to just take a look, guys. We want to give you options for funding in your business, especially for those that are mobile home investing, because we're not working with real estate, right? Most people that are buying mobile homes in communities, we're talking personal property. It is nearly impossible to get a loan against something that is not assigned or deeded to land, right? This is personal property. So we have to go the alternative approach. And Chris has really given some awesome information. So Chris, again, can't thank you enough. We really appreciate this. This was recorded. So those that have joined late, go back, start from the beginning. We gave some awesome gems. Again, go to sproutfin.com/MHG. Go through the questions that they ask. Krista and her team will reach out to you, see what we can get you for funding. So we're going to sign off. I appreciate you, Krista, and thanks so much.
Thanks, Brandon. Happy anytime.
Yep. All right. Happy investing, guys. Be careful. Take care.